Hello, hello. Let me hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay, you guys kind of help me out if you can. For some reason, my camera, when I go live, will not let me adjust the autofocus, and it drives me crazy. And when I'm looking at my monitor through the live feed, it doesn't show when it's doing all this adjusting, but then I notice it on the replay. So if you guys can let me know if it starts doing all that, you know, autofocus crazy stuff, let me know, and then I can try and see if I need to position the stuff somewhere else or, you know, whatever. It's a webcam that I have. Um, and when I can get it to be into out of the autofocus if I'm not on YouTube. I can do that. I have no issue with that when I make videos and stuff like that. But when I'm in YouTube trying to do the live stream, for whatever reason, I can't get into the settings of my camera. Um, anyway, anyway, so that's my issue. So anyway, well, the reason I'm here is that I did a boil today, and I thought, well, I'm going to start peeling it apart, and maybe I'd share that with you guys. Also, the reason I'm doing this is because a couple of people that have bought a lot of my papers, for whatever reason, did not realize that I offer an online workshop, which it's right there in the Etsy shop where they buy the paper. But for some reason, they just never saw the online course there. So this is sort of like a little toot my own horn. Let you guys know that if you like doing this, you like the papers, you want to play around with it, I do have an online course on my Etsy. And right now, no matter, what hemisphere you're living in, whether it's, springtime or fall time, it's the perfect time to start playing around in your garden with the various plants. So right now in my yard, I don't have a whole bunch of anything, but I do have a lot of weeds. The weeds love to come up. And so I thought, well, let's see what those weeds do. Let's play around with it. And then also yesterday, I had some of my friends come over. I have a sort of like a open house, open studio here. About maybe every other Saturday. And so one of my friends came over and brought this beautiful bouquet of flowers. So I will show, what I used in here from the bouquets. But the rest of the stuff is going to be pretty much stuff that is in my yard, and I'll point out, I won't know the names because most of them are weeds that are flowering, but you'll be able to appreciate um, what we get out of these particular plants. So let me and I don't even know if they work because some of these I haven't used before. You know how little animals come around and have little droppings and new little weeds pop up here and there. So I have a few things I haven't used before. And then also I have used some plants that I dried and some that I froze during the winter from fall. So a little combo of everything. So these right here started off as um, red roses. And let me get my trash can. Let me get my trash can so I can throw these in there. Now, this is a weed. It just pops up and gives these little white flowers. I have no idea what it is. Cool. And then some of these, I put all kinds of grungy stuff in my water. So later on, if there's residues or anything, I just rinse them. But I actually like the organic feel of all the crunchy stuff on there. So unless they're really, really nasty, I don't wash them. Woo! Are we having any autofocus problems yet? I hope not. Okay, so here again is that weed. Look how cool. And these got pretty embedded. Okay. And this was a rose, but it was a pink one. And so you can see the big difference. The red one was obviously darker. Also, I was going to come and kind of promote my new fabric packs that I put up this morning. But thanks to all of you, I think they're all gone except for one. So I guess no need to push those. They're gone. Thank you. Thank you. All right. These are some of the red ones too. So you can see the, whoops. Now see what happens there is that some kind of an air gap happened, and so it didn't make contact. So when the leaf doesn't make contact, well, obviously you're not going to get a print. So that's what that weird stuff is there. No contact. That's right, Carly, you did. That Southwest one. Let me tell you, most of my packs, they're usually average, the weight-wise, they usually average about anywhere from 8 to 9 ounces. That Western one is over a pound. Everything I put in there was heavy. You're going to need a horse just to carry the pack. Okay. Whoops, gnats. I had all my doors open today. And all right. Hello. I don't know how that looks for you guys. Oh, whoops, forgot. Here's some more of that weed. That's another weed. It gives like a purple flower. Now see, that purple flower came out green, green, green. So what I love about this kind of, I call it an art, but what I really enjoy about this is that you never, ever, ever know what you're going to get, because it's never the same twice. All right. Now this is just a stem from that white weed. Okay, you can see that white weed a little bit better here because it didn't smash all the way, but it has these little white flowers. You see them around here anywhere, all over the fields. And, basically my lawn is mowed weeds. So before we get to mowing, these are eucalyptus. So before we get to mowing, all those weeds pop up. I don't know too many people that have lawns, the real lawns. I know when I was growing up, we had a real lawn, always trying to get rid of all those weeds. I never understood that. Just mow them. But, a lot of people, they're into their lawn and the type of, they got to reseed them every spring and, oh, just let the weeds go. I'd rather plant flowers that I can print with. Or weeds. I love the weeds too. My husband, yesterday, he was getting his little sprayer to get his poison to go around certain areas to do the weeds. I said, don't get in my area. I'm going to use all my weeds. He goes, I know, I know. Always drilling him. Okay, there's that side. All right. Now this is a Boston fern. Probably recognize it. Maybe you've never seen it cooked, but that's the way it looks when it's cooked. And again, here's that. I really went crazy all over the yard getting those white weeds. I think I've got them practically in every single page. Also, I was telling some other ladies in another live stream I was watching, I'm putting together, just a heads up in case you're interested, I'm in the process right now of putting together a online encaustic workshop. I'm having one here. I'm having a couple of them, matter of fact, here in my studio. And so I thought I would put something together. And, while I'm putting that together, it's easy enough to put some information together and film a few things in preparation for the workshop here. But anyway, how to apply encaustic to us that work in mixed media and junk journal world. Those of you that have seen some of the journals that I've made in the past, I've made some covers that, look at that, how pretty. I've made some covers for my junk journals that were encaustic, and everybody seemed to, show, some interest because of the look. So then I thought, well, let me see if I can find out if people are interested in learning how to do it. The way I do it is a little different than, quote, the professional encaustic artist, because I'm adapting it, to something different that I want. It's different than working with just plain wax. I've seen how, look at that, there's the weed again. I've seen how some people, put it on paper and photographs and things like that, just regular wax. The problem with that, well, I shouldn't say the problem, the benefit of working with the encaustic medium, it's different because it's also, the base is wax, but it has a resin in it. And that resin will harden over a short period of time. It hardens and it is extremely durable. When you're working with just beeswax, just go over and get a candle and, boing, get your nail in there and it goes right in. It is not hard. It's not durable because it's meant to melt. And so, ooh, look at this. I wonder what that was. I hate when I do that. I do things and I go, now wait a minute. What was that? Because look at that, how pretty. I don't know. See with my stupid, let me try it. Don't get a headache now if it starts going all wonky. Look how pretty that is. Anyway, back to the encaustic. Um, the resin in there makes it extremely durable so that you don't have to worry about, you chipping it and being very soft and malleable. It gets hard. They still find ruins in Egypt and places like that where they look. Ooh, now what was that? Woohoo! And their encaustic drawings are still there intact over, 5,000 years. So anyway, so I'm putting together a class. I just found out I can't take leaves off and talk and think at the same time. I'm really, slow-witted. So, okay. Well, because I get all excited with all these colors. But anyway, so the next reason a lot of people, mixed media people, don't get involved in encaustic is because if you go over to some websites and you click on and you find information about startup kits for encaustic. I went over there the other day and they're like $400 and $500. Hello. Well, I wouldn't be doing it either. Who's going to spend $500 or $600 for a hobby that you don't even know if you're going to enjoy it? What are you going to do with it? All that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be putting together, for those that, have the money to do it, fine and dandy, go get it. But if you don't, I'm putting together, or trying in the process of putting together, a kit that will be extremely affordable. I'm trying really hard to get it to be like about $30. I'm hoping. Don't quote me. Anyone, don't tell anybody. But I'm going to try and do that by getting some things in some bulk. So obviously, the more people that decide to take the workshop will, it will pay me back for getting the bulk stuff. But anyway, so that is the plan. And the workshops here will be next month. And then around that time, hopefully, I'll have the online workshop also. So just keep that in mind in the back of your head. If that is something that, you would be interested in, if you could find a cost-effective way to do it. And I'll be giving more information in the future. I'll show examples of what we'll be making, examples of how we can adapt it to our junk journal making. And, because for me, I don't know about for you guys, but for me, the challenge is always trying to make something different. That's just the way I've been about everything that I've ever done. I'll look at something and I'll go, oh, that's cool. Now, how can I put a twist on that and make it different? And I just like challenging myself that way. So for those of you that like that too, well, maybe we can do it together. Now, look at these colors. Look how pretty. Okay, now these right here, I was so jibber-jabbering so much. Okay, let me backtrack. This and this, these are the leaves from the roses. This is a rose leaf, that's a rose leaf. Don't ask me what I put over here. Now, don't ask me because I don't even remember. See how crazy it gets? I mean, I honestly don't care because I just keep getting whatever's available and playing with it. See, that didn't make full contact, but I like that look. I like how that looks. Now, I couldn't do that on purpose, but when it happens, I like it. Yes, I do. Sorry, ladies, I'm not looking over there right now because if I do, then I really won't get all this stuff off there. I'll go back in a second and answer any questions you might have had. Or when I go look, you can ask them again. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, weed. Yay, another weed. Okay, now see, this got all pretty nasty. Oh, because what I did put in here too is I put in the water, in addition to other stuff, I put some avocado leftover stuff. And so that obviously is going to have to get washed off, some gritty stuff. And then I don't clean my pan. Whatever was in my pan the time before and whatever residue is there, I let it build up. Sort of like what some of us do with our jelly plates. We just leave stuff, right? See what comes up. I do the same thing with my utensils that I use with my oh, okay, now this was another weed. Look at that. You may recognize it. I don't know what that is. I think that, I'm not positive. Is that where the dandelion comes up? I can't remember. But anyway, another weed. This is that white weed. Cool. Okay. More weed. I know you're getting tired of hearing that, but I tell you, I just got all the weed I could find in my yard and used it. This again is the rose leaves, not leaves, yeah, rose leaves. Okay. That weed again. I'm guessing it's the dandelion. I don't know. I don't know. That right there is part of the rose. That was a red rose leaf. And sometimes I have to touch the stuff a couple of times because sometimes they look like they're just sitting on there, but sometimes it's a print. So, all right. There's another piece of, whoops, there's, whoa. There, okay, that's the weed. And this is the Boston fern that just fell off of its little branch stem. Weeds. And the paper that I'm using here is mixed media, the ones that you've seen so far. And then further down, I'm using just regular copy paper. Weeds. Oops. It's kind of, delicate. You can tear it really, really easily. So it takes a little while to get the stuff off. You don't want to be gouging it. Oops. Okay. There's another weed. The other day, well, it's been over a month, somebody bought my pack of paper. And I guess I had been kind of spoiled in that everybody had always complimented my paper. Well, this one lady that bought my paper, she left a review and said that she could barely use only half of the papers that I sent her, and that the rest of them were very muddy. And I guess she wanted every piece to be a work of art that she could frame or something. I don't know. But if you go to Etsy and you look on, eco printing, and say you want one of these, something like this over here, that is pretty, very clear, very bright, very crisp, they're charging, unframed, they're charging like $20. Well, I charged $25 for the whole pack, and I guess she wanted them to all be a work of art. Well, her definition of work of art. I think they're all a work of art because I think they all look pretty. But I guess she just wanted me to do all the work for her. Well, if she wanted that quality of prints, she wouldn't have gotten as many as she did for the price that she did. She would have gotten one for the price that she did. Okay, so this right here is very interesting. If you see this and that, I really, really wish I knew what that was, because isn't that beautiful? Look at that. It's gorgeous. What the heck is it? Oh, well, I don't have that many things in my yard, so I'm sure I can figure it out. It's blooming right now. How cool is that? Wow. Oh, I see people screaming at me. Okay. Yes, Scotty. What? Time for a disclaimer? Oh, you mean on my listing? Yes, I would agree. Disclaimer, these are for junk journaling, not for you to turn around and make a profit off of it as an artist. That was just thought was funny because look at my stream. What does that mean? Scotty, what does that mean? Oh, when am I doing my workshop? I sometime next month. That's all I'm saying because that's all I know. I don't want to put a deadline on me then I start getting anxious and nervous because, oh no, the date's coming. So sometime next month. Keep it loosey-goosey. Where am I doing my workshop? I'm doing the live workshop here in my studio. I don't have a date for that yet. And then around the same time, then I'll release the online course. There's Pink Rose. Did she get lost for a minute? Did you see Pink Rose? All the beautiful, look, this was Pink Rose right here. Right here is Pink Rose. Oh, she wants to come. Oh, that would be wonderful. Well, then I better kind of figure out the date for sure so she can plan. I'll just tell you and don't tell no one else. That way I won't feel the pressure. Oh, but then I'll feel the pressure for your mom. Oh, gosh. Okay, now see, that was a pretty pink, and look, it did absolutely nothing. So that's one thing you learn when you do this is the color you see, and I explain all this in the workshop, how, when, and how, and why, and all this stuff. But what you see is not what you get. And you'll learn why, and you'll be able to spot it and understand, you know, what you're looking for in plants that you want to print with. There goes my doggies. I think an ambulance went by. All right, so now here's that Boston Fern again. There's the Pink Rose. All right. These are pretty. See, what I did is I turned them off, and then I went to go make some supper, and then I came back, and there had been some water in the pan, and when I got back, there was no water. All the papers sucked it all up. All right, here's some more weed. And this is Eucalyptus. Oh, look how cool that came out. Now on my, you'll notice that you can use the same plants in the same batch, and they will print different colors based on the paper. And that has to do with the cotton content percentage on your paper. It absorbs the colors differently, the intensity, the brightness. So you will have, different colors based on not just the plant you use, but the type of paper. And that comes with experience of, what you like. What I like may not be what you like. And depending on the part of the country or the part of the world you're in, you might have access to different papers that I don't. And plants, obviously. So, yeah, I haven't used I use the skins of the onions. I don't use the onions themselves, but I do use the skins. Okay, here's some eucalyptus. Okay, I had folded this because these papers I didn't want to get all smushed in the pot. Okay, so this is all eucalyptus. And this is part of the rose. So these down here really absorbed all of the color because they just sat on the bottom while I was cooking. So, yes, beads do. I just did a batch of paper and some lace and different things with black beans. It gives a beautiful purple. But what I learned, now I'm not an expert because I'm not a dyer. I don't dye textiles and stuff like that. But from what I've read, is that the beet doesn't keep the in other words, you wouldn't want to do clothing with things that you've dyed with beet, because what do they call that when the colors, there's a word, I read it. I'm sure you ladies know what it is. What's it called? Phantom? Is that what they call it? A phantom color? Where it looks really cool and within a period of time it just disappears or fades out. But when it comes to these papers, now if I was going to frame it like a piece of art, well, there's a lot of things I probably wouldn't use because they would fade away. But when it comes to what I use them for, and what the majority of people that buy them from me for, is, to put them inside of their journals. So obviously they're protected from light because they're inside of a book. So, all right. So now this paper, I like using this paper. I don't know what it is. I got it at a secondhand store, a nice big bundle, and I don't have very much left. But it looks like it has a lot of cotton in it, or those kind of linen papers that they use for resumes, because you can, when you buy that kind of paper, it has that sort of like that line that's through it in the way that it's made. Anyway, that's what this is, and I just love the way it prints. It must have had a lot of a high cotton content on this paper, because I just love how it prints. I'll be sad when I don't have any more. That's what happens when you get stuff like that at, secondhand stores, and they just have it in a bag, and you don't have the original packaging, and you don't know what the heck you bought, so you can't buy it again. That's the frustrating part and the fun part. You know, you never know what you're getting. More eucalyptus, some rose, eucalyptus, and rose. How pretty that was, those two colors together. Mm-mm-mm. That was the rose leaves. I like how those came out. Something I can't get around here anywhere are the tops to carrots. You know, when you buy carrots anymore, all the green part's gone. And I've read that the green part prints really well. And I can't find it anywhere. Even down at the market, you know, the open air market, they have them all chopped off. And so I asked them, can I have it? And they've bought it from someone else who has already chopped it. Nobody sells anything they grow. They buy it, you know, it's like third, second hand down. So they don't have the tops either. I was willing to even pay them for the tops, but they don't even have them. So if you grow your own vegetables, which I don't because we've got moles, we got dogs, we have all kinds of critters that forget it. So I don't even bother. I used to try and I don't do it anymore. Especially, you know, obviously stuff that's in the edible parts in the ground. All the other little varmints eat them up before I can. So anyway, if you have your own garden and you plant carrots and you decide to do this, save your carrot tops. I don't know what it looks like, but I read that they print really cool. And of course, if you read it, it must be true, right? Okay, now this here is just regular old copy paper. Regular old copy paper. Of course, it's a lot thinner than everything else we've been using, and it's delicate, so it can tear very easily. But as you can see, it still has a really good printing quality to it. I think that one is 24 weight. Organic rainbow carrots. Ooh, I never heard of that. See, unfortunately, I live smack dab in the middle of Walmart country, and they monopolize everything. They don't even let any other kind of grocery store be successful. They, it's sad. There's no regular grocery stores in my town. There's like 10 Walmarts, but little else. So that's why I'd gone to the farmer's market, but still. Okay, this is that one. I don't know what it is. And a few blocks from me, they used to have like a little area where they would plant and grow things, like a little co-op, and try and encourage the neighborhood and the kids during the summer and stuff like that. I noticed last year they didn't do it. Maybe this year. Okay, that was rose petals. This here is the eucalyptus, rose petal, rose petal, eucalyptus, and more rose petal. Okay. Ooh, pretty. Yeah, we don't have the luxury of the choice of Walmart or a regular grocery store. I can't remember the last time I've been or even seen a regular grocery store. It's so sad. The closest like Whole Foods from me is about 45 minutes away. Um, I don't honestly know what grocery stores there are anymore because of the lack of them being around here. I know when I lived in California, you had like Safeway and Albertsons and regular mom and pop places and health food type grocery stores that catered toward that. But and then I figured as far as growing my own, between the bugs, the varmints, the birds, we have moles and the squirrels. The squirrels are relentless. And then we have extremely hot summers. Between all that and the water bill, I just go, no way, Jose. I'm too lazy. I admit it. I'm just too lazy to go through all that. Oh, look at that. That was a rose petal. Isn't that gorgeous? Again, this is that paper that I don't know what it is. Oh, beautiful. This is the rose petal again here. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Very cool. More roses. Is different type of eucalyptus here. Okay. And I might get brave this summer and do some more fabric. I seem to have more fun and more success with the paper, but I still might. I'm going to do my resting. I love doing my resting on my fabric, so I'll be doing that soon because it needs to be the way I do it. It needs to be warm outside. So as soon as I see a couple of days that it's going to be warm consistently, I'll pop those in. Cool. More eucalyptus. I went down to, well, first of all, eucalyptus does not grow in my area. And then a lot of the ladies that buy their eucalyptus, they get it pretty inexpensively at Trader Joe's, which again, we have no Trader Joe's. I don't think we even have one in our state, let alone our town. So I went to the local florist and took a piece of paper showing him what I do and asked him about the availability. Of course, I knew he could get it, but, what was the price going to be? So he liked what I was doing and he thought it was interesting. So he ordered me, well, he showed me a whole bunch of different ones that, he has availability or access to. And because there's so many, not all varieties of eucalyptus will print. There's over 200 varieties, and they do not all print. So that's, kind of a hit and miss. So he's going, well, what kind do you want? And I'm going, duh, I don't know. I don't know what really prints. Anyway, so based on some pictures I had seen, I picked some out, and those are the ones I got. And he got me about the base of it, the what am I trying to say? The stems. It was about that much. So it was about that much, whoops, camera, that much eucalyptus. It was a lot, a lot, a lot. I still have some. This is still part of it. And all he charged me was $15. And I know it must have cost a whole lot more than that, because a small one, I was told at Trader Joe's, cost about that much. And I got probably like 4 times this much. But anyway, so I went back and showed him what I did with it. And he got all excited, and he goes, oh, wow, that's really cool. And so I told him, I said, I would sweep up your floor for free every night just to pick up the stuff you throw on the floor. So we're going to talk. He might just give me some of his bags of trash where they trim off the leaves and stuff. Because as you saw, the leaves of the roses do really well. So when they make their bouquets, they clip off a lot of the leaves to, be able to put the stems in. And so they have lots of leaves of different kinds of plants. And, I'm sure plants I've never heard of or seen. So that'll be my next kissy nut over the summer, to try and get some plants that I don't have access, in my yard or to buy or anything like that normally. So that'll be fun. Okay, so let me look here at all the fun stuff that I have. Whoops. Oh, sorry, people. I think I just hit the the microphone. I'm sorry. Oh, let's just put something pretty so you can see while I'm trying to read. That one, as the lady would say, it's very muddy. Let's put something pretty. There's a pretty one. Okay. Let's see all the fun stuff that I've missed here. Okay. I have dyed with spices. I have used turmeric in my stuff. It comes out really, really pretty. I've also used curry. That comes out really nice. Oh, cool, Jennifer. Yeah, no Trader Joe's. I tell you, I live in the armpit of America. Janet, that's funny. You should have bought cheap wine. Yeah, I know. It seems like every time, well, a few years ago, we tried to um, grow anything. It was like all the little varmints got to it before we did, especially the birds. We also tried the cherry tomato thing because I love cherry tomatoes. Um, but, you know, yeah, it was not a pretty sight. It was not pretty. Okay, Linda has gardenias, magnolias, roses, azaleas. Ooh, yes. I don't have any azaleas, but I was very brash. I was going down the road, and in this yard, this lady had these azaleas that were to die for. She had like about 10 different colors. It was amazing. And somebody was out there with the like a what do you call that? I'm forgetting the names of tools. Anyway, basically trimming down the bush, and so there was a lot of cuttings and stuff. So I went over. This was last summer. I went over and I asked her. I knocked at the door. I go, uh, could I pick up some of those flowers that they're cutting apart? And she looked at me kind of funny, and I told her what I did and all that. She goes, oh, okay, sure. So I never leave the house without plastic bags, something to cut with, and a little plastic small rake. I mean, I go everywhere with that, and a 5 gallon empty thing of that used to have paint in it. So I carry that wherever I go during the season when I know there's stuff I might want to go scavenging for my printing. And so I whipped out those bags and started filling them up. And she looked at me. She goes, "Ooh, you're prepared." And I said, "Oh yeah." So then afterwards, after I did some, I took some to her, and she'd never seen anything like it, so she really appreciated it. So I made her a few little cards and some envelopes so that she could give to friends or whatever. So yes, I have done the azaleas. Magnolia leaves, they print really, really pretty. The flowers, not so much. And I have not tried the gardenias, but I will give you a little, well, just an observation I've had that plants, say your white plants, the flowers, there's some that just kind of fade away and when they die. And then there's others that get this like a rusty color around the edges. And I find that whatever causes that in the plant, that dye is inside of that white and they print. If they don't get that rusty color on a white one, they don't print at all. So gardenias happen to do that. You know, they get that little rusty color looking on them. So I'm guessing the gardenias would print, but I've never tried that. You need to try it, Linda. Let me know. I don't have access to any gardenias. Um, Blackberries. Oh yeah, those really. Well, that's as far as this will let me go back. I see. Oh, somebody was saying rice paper. No, rice paper, actually, it works. I've used rice paper. I've used rice paper. I've used tracing paper. I've used vellum. I've used, what else? Can't think right now. But a lot of the papers that you think would not hold up, they actually do. Parchment paper. Um, yeah, I've tried all those and they work. Vellum, did I say vellum already? Mm. Pink Rose, you have a parrot? We used to rescue parrots or give homes to rescue parrots. Let's put it that way. We didn't like go out in the jungle and rescue parrots. Now we rescue dogs. Yes, Jennifer, the vellum does, it warps and does really weird things, but let me tell you, I love it. I think it looks so cool. And so what happens is when it does the warpy thing, then the dyes fall like into the little bit of the valleys and you get these really cool colors. I like it a lot. Lilies, not all lilies work. Um, I can't remember the colors I used. This was last spring. I did some lilies. They will give like what I call a ghost print, but basically that's a resist. It's resisting whatever other colors are mingling with it from the other plants. And so I wouldn't really call it a print. It basically just resisted. Oh, Senegal. Yeah, those are so cute. They're like little buddies. Yeah. Okay. Peonies. Well, I don't know. Depending on the part of the country you live, peonies, I know. But the leaves and the leaves and the petals, they do print really well. The leaves more so than the petals, actually. Mimosas also. I haven't done the 4 o'clock. Um, Let me see. I haven't done the bleeding heart. I saw someone that did it. Well, let me put it this way. Two different ladies tried the bleeding heart. One said she had no result, and the other one said she did. It might have been the variety. And then again, like I explain, it depends on your soil, what gets sucked up into the plant. You could have the exact same plant and the mineral content in your soil when it comes to this type of printing, um, is a factor in what you're going to get. So that's why, I encourage my students that you have to practice. If you're the type of individual that likes, likes things precise and in order, and you're able to understand it logically, this is not that at all, because every time it's a surprise. You can very rarely duplicate what you did one time and do it again. The principles are all there that you can work with, but what you end up with is inevitably going to be different. And so yeah, it's fun. And I remember when I first got started in this, I, asked a lot of questions and I felt I was getting vague answers like, oh, these people don't want to tell me nothing. They don't want to share. And now that I know what I know, that's not it at all. It's that you have to experiment. It depends what paper you're going to use. It also depends the content of minerals in your water, in your area, in your ground, what kind of plants you have, what kind of paper you're going to use. I mean, it varies so much. So when someone says, well, how did you get that look? Well, you may not be able to get that look because everything has to align just so for that particular look to happen. And that to me is the fun part. The fun part is not even knowing what you're getting. Like right now, when I opened these up, that was the fun part to me. I have no idea what they're going to look like, and I probably won't be able to duplicate it again. And to me, that's the fun part. Um, yeah, boiling and steaming gives a whole different look. The way that what you use and how you compress your paper with your plants. That's also another factor because there's a lot of ways to do that. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. But like I said, that's the fun part, I think. Anyway, that's what I think. I think it's the fun part. Yeah, that's the exciting part. Okay, now real quick, let me show you. I usually don't have things. when I think of them, and this thing is right here. I was talking to you about the encaustic. Those of you that have seen my journals, you already know basically what I'm talking about. Now, I was asked by one of my lovely customers about, okay, let me backtrack. I'm getting ahead of myself. When I make my journals, I make some kind of an encaustic, put it on my journal cover, and then, go through and make the journal. And obviously, these end up being very time consuming and they're costly. When I put them in my shop, they're expensive. What I call expensive. Other people charge more for their journals, but for me, I call it expensive. Because when I sell these all complete and done, they're usually about $125. I know other people do just regular paper ones for more than that, but I'm going by, anyway, never mind. Shut up, Rosemary. Okay, so not everybody can afford a journal for $125. I know if I wasn't making it, I couldn't go around buying a journal for $125. Okay, that's just being real. All right, so what was suggested, and which was weird because I was thinking about it, but I didn't think anybody would want to do that. What was asked is if I could just make the encaustic part and sell those, and then they could attach it because they know how to make their own journals. Then they could attach it to their journal, and then they would be able to have some kind of an encaustic cover without having to pay the buku bucks and still get the same look. And so in addition to the workshop, I'm going to start offering that also. Like, for instance, they all started off like this, and these are on canvas board. That's what I did these on. And then as an option to show what you personally can do with it is you can put it on some kind of an old book cover. And then if you're going to be doing layering, then you could, put it on top of then a bigger book cover if you're going to make your own or whatever you're going to do. And so you already have the premise of getting this, all together and, having your own journal. And here's another way of finishing it off. Again, you would be able to put it onto your own journal that you make, or this could be your cover. And then those of you that know how to do your own journal making, you can see how simple it would be to put it all together. And then if you don't know how to make journals from scratch, you could still get something like this and put holes in it and have it be a ring binder cover. So you'd have a lot of different options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offer just this alone for those of you that know what you want to do and you're going to be able to do it. And then I'm going to offer some that are already mounted and semi-decorated that you can just go ahead and put on your journal. And then for those of you that say, I really don't know how to do any of that, but all I can do is put the signatures in, then I'll be putting some of these on some gutted book covers. And then if you already know how to finish it from that point, then you're all ready to go to make your journal. And so that's the plan. Whether it all comes together, who knows? But that's part of the plan based on whatever interest I get on the workshop. So if there's oh, I'd like to do that, but blah, 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 I don't think I can. Then I'll say, well, if you don't want to do the workshop, you can still make covers with encaustic covers And this is the way you can do it. So just another option that I'm going to put out there and see, you know, um, what, what reaction I get. Because you never know really what your base is looking for, because you may think they're not interested in something and all of a sudden they go, yeah, I'm interested. Oh, okay, I had no idea. So you don't know until you put yourself out there. Now these, all of these, let me think. Yes, all of these, the base of the images are all napkins. These are all napkins. And so when you say, well, I can't find these images, well, when it comes to the workshop kit, when it comes to making these, I probably would like show a bunch of napkins, and then you could pick the napkin and say, oh yeah, make me one out of that napkin. And then after I put the napkin on, then, I add papers and, you know, basic collage stuff like you would do at any other kind of a collage um, cover. I can't think of words right now. But anyway, so that's just a few of the things I've been up to. Jennifer, I'm going to offer it online also. Um, I'm in the process right now of filming. Some of these are some of the ones that I'm filming with. And so I've got to film the whole process, and then I'm going to break it down and edit it into sections. And so I probably won't be ready with that till next month sometime, probably the end of the month. Actually, time goes by way too quickly, and then I think what I want to do is include, maybe, I'm not sure, maybe include some of the stuff that the students are doing in the workshop here in the studio, so you can see some of their work and how, they're doing it, so that you can feel more comfortable, that, someone that for the first time has never done it before, they're doing it too, that kind of a thing. So anyway, so that is that. Lots of things going on. Lots of things buzzing around in my head all the time. Oh, and I forgot if I mentioned it. Yeah, I did mention at the beginning that I'm trying to put a kit together that's real cost effective, because if you don't have any of the stuff to do this and you buy everything, it's pretty costly. And so if I give you, what I did is I measured a bunch of stuff out and used just that to see how much I could do. And by me getting a little round tin with some resin with the encaustic medium, with 1 ounce of the product, I was able to do 2.5 of these. And so, and when you go and buy it, you have to buy 16 ounces of it, which it's not cheap. So this way, you're only going to have to be paying for 1 ounce plus, the other stuff that you need. So you can see how the cost gets smaller and smaller and smaller if I were able to put a little kit together. And then once you try it, and if it's something you really like, well, then you can make your investment in buying your stuff. But this way, at least you've done it once, you've been exposed to it, you have the idea of how you do it, and then go from there. And I bet you guys will come up with ideas I haven't even come up with, of what to do with it. I'm going to be offering several things in the workshop, not just this, but I'm going to show how to make a piece of jewelry with encaustic. I'm going to show you how to do some tags with the encaustic. I'm going to offer maybe at least 3 different applications, and not just the one, so that if one is not your thing, maybe the other thing, is something that's appealing to you. All right, so I've been jibber jabbering again and not looking so much on the on the feed. Let me see here. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, ladies, if you don't have any more questions, I think I've kind of like, talked off your ear. And if if you haven't done the eco dyeing before and there's something you might be interested in, about a year ago when I very, very, very first started, no, a year and a half ago, when I very, very first started this, I have a video that shows you the extreme basics because that's all I knew. It was the second time I had done it, and I put the video out there. You can always go and watch that, and it'll give you some ideas of where to start. But if you want a little bit more in-depth instruction, then I do have that workshop that's in my Etsy shop. It's not expensive. I think I can't even remember. I'm not going to say, but I think it's like, oh dear, I don't remember, like $35 or something like that. It's very inexpensive for the information you get and the results that you're going to get, you know. So, um, it's worth your money. If nothing else, this is what I tell people. If nothing else, when I sell my bundles of paper, my eco dyed papers, my bundle is $25. You pay the shipping. You're already paying $30, and you get a bundle of paper, which I appreciate you buying my paper because I like making it. But if it's something that you might want to do in the future with the same amount of money, you can take the class and then you can make your own paper. Or if it's not your thing, you can come back and still buy my paper, whatever. So to me, I made it so that you got value out of it, because the very least you're going to end up with as many papers as you'd have paid me for the same amount of money to mail you the papers. You'll have them, you made them, and if you ever want to make them again, you have them there. So I think that's like a win-win kind of thing. But hey, come to me for the papers. I don't care. I love making them. I have a lot of fun doing the papers. Um, yeah. Encaustic to me, before I really got, you know, interested in finding more information, it was sort of like a mystery to me. Everything, a lot of things, if you haven't been too exposed to it, you just see the end result and oh, that's beautiful. If only I knew how to do that. But it's usually from seeing it, and doing it, that mystery in between kind of stops us from even trying it because you feel kind of overwhelmed. And those kinds of things don't intimidate me. Those kind of things are the kind of things I think that I'm drawn to, are things I don't know how to do and things that you have to kind of figure out on your own. Because when it came to the eco dyeing, when I first started doing this about a year and a half ago, you couldn't find information on it. You couldn't find videos on it. You had to join a workshop, a 2-day workshop in Australia, for $300, and then you had to fly down, and it was pretty crazy. And so I just got little bits from here and there and there, and even in books they don't really explain that much to you. Again, I understand why. There's so many variables. But really where you learn how to do it is in workshops, and there was no workshops available in my area, and at that time I didn't find any online either. And I found one that offered some kind of a PDF thing, and I thought, no, I don't, I have dyslexia, so if you give me something to read and you want me to figure it out, no way, it's not going to happen. I have to see it or do it to learn. Otherwise, I can't learn. I can't learn from reading. I can't learn anything. And so I guess that's why I always challenge myself because, um, you know, um, it's been hard for me to learn things in the traditional way my entire life, like through school and things like that. And so I've always learned that I had to learn a different way from the way most people learn and the way the educational system teaches people. And so, I guess you adapt. Yes, that's the word. You adapt. And through the years, I've just said, okay, I don't know how to do that. I'm going to learn how to do that. I don't care, no matter obstacles I get in front of me, I'm going to figure this one out. And I usually do. And I'm usually attracted to things that are frustrating to me to learn. And then I find a way to really enjoy it. So same thing with the encaustic. It was like a total mystery to me. Like, what? And then there was a bookstore that was going out of business. I forget, it's called Hastings, I think it was called. And at the end of like the last week it was going to be open, they had the books were like 50 cents or something. It was ridiculous. And there was a book there in caustic. I mean, maybe it's right here. Hold on. Do I have it here? Sometimes I have it at the house, and sometimes I have it. Oh, it must be at the house. But it was a book on encaustic. And I go, okay. So I said, if they have pictures in there, I'm gonna get it. Because if it's reading it, forget it. So I opened it up and it was full of pictures. I go, yay! So I got the book for 50 cents. And that's pretty much, how I got an introduction to it. And then I started looking at the prices of stuff and how to do this and how to do that. And then coincidentally, after I do all of that, all right, I've done all of that, all the hard work, giving myself a headache. Then I find out that one of the ladies, okay, first of all, I have, those of you that don't know, I have a couple of Facebook groups. And through the Facebook group, I've met a few people that live in my general area, and they have come to my workshops. Okay. So through those workshops, I met this one lady, and anyway, I find out that she's a real, what I call a real artist in the traditional sense, that the type of stuff that would go, in a gallery as opposed to us swappers. She does gallery work, but she likes doing mixed media and stuff like this because it helps her loosen up. Because the kind of work she does, I guess she's kind of uptight, trying to do this, this frou-frou stuff. So the mixed media loosens her up. Well, anyway, she did the loosey-goosey version of it, and she was doing the uptight version of it. She was doing portraits. And here I am slopping on, napkins for my pictures, and she is painting the pictures with the ink. Anyway, so so she goes, I'm not going to tell you anything. She says, because you've learned your technique and you're doing it your way. And she was just going to mess up my mind by telling me, the artsy fartsy way that you're supposed to do it. So so that's how that all came about. I mean, as far as, the, what am I trying to say? the encaustic. Anyway, but she's an artist. She's an artist, and um, I'll never be that kind of an artist. But I enjoy playing and learning new things. Okay, all right, ladies, I'm out of here. I gotta go hang up all my papers so they can dry. And I hope you guys have a lovely evening and enjoy the weather. Most of the country is going to have nice weather next week, which is a rarity these days. And so you guys have fun. And I'll see you when I see you. As you know, I never know when I'm going live, just when I feel like it. All right, ladies, thanks again for all your support. And I will see you guys soon. Good night.